Hello, good morning everyone. Myself Mithra K S, volunteer at Shivi Forensics. Today I am going to explain some of the multiple choice questions and their answers related to fingerprint science. This video covers the questions and answers related to history of fingerprint and its pioneers and development methods. So let's start the video with a brief introduction about this topic. The study and application of fingerprints in forensic science, known as dactyloscopy, rests on the core rule that no individuals share identical ridge designs and these patterns remain permanent throughout a person's life. So let's start the MCQ. The first one is, who was the first European to recognize the uniqueness of fingerprints and systematically use them on contracts for illiterate laborers in India? The options are option A, Sir Edward Richard Henry, option B, Sir William Herschel, option C, Dr. Henry Falls, option D, Sir Francis Galton. So the correct answer is option B, that is Sir William Herschel. The explanation is Sir William Herschel began this practice in 1858 while serving as a British magistrate in the Hooghly district of Bengal, India. He observed that the ridge patterns on the skin remained permanent throughout a person's life and using them to prevent fraud among local contractors. Next question is, who published the first textbook titled Fingerprints in 1892, establishing the scientific foundation of ridge characteristics and proving that no two fingerprints are identical? The options are Alphonse Bertillon, Sir William Herschel, Sir Francis Galton, option D, Juan Vucetich. The correct answer is option C, that is Sir Francis Galton, a British anthropologist and cousin of Charles Darwin, scientifically proved that individuality and permanence of fingerprints. He calculated the probability of two identical fingerprints as 1 in 64 billion and identified the core pattern types, arches, lobes and whorls. So here is the image of Sir Francis Galton given in the right side of the slide. Next question is, which forensic pioneer developed the fingerprint classification system that is still widely used in most English speaking countries today? The first option is Sir Edward Richard Henry. Option B, Edmund Lockhart. Option C, Juan Vucetich. Option D, Hans Gross. The correct answer is option A. Sir Edward Richard Henry developed the Henry classification system in 1897. This 10-print classification method allowed fingerprint records to be sorted and searched systematically, replacing the error-prone anthropometry body measurement system. The next question is, what famous historical case of two lookalike prisoners contributed to the downfall of the Bertillon anthropometric measurement system in favor of fingerprinting? First one is the Lute case, the case of Will and William West, the Thomas Jennings case, the Jack and the Ripper investigations. So this is the case that we previously mentioned in the third question, and this case introduced the method contributed by Sir Henry. The correct answer is option B, the case of Will and William West. In 1903, the two inmates named Will West and William West were found to have almost identical body measurements under Alphonse Bertillon's anthropometry system. Despite looking alike and measuring the same, their fingerprints were entirely different, conclusively proving that fingerprints were the superior method of individualization. The fifth question is, who is credited with the concept of poroscopy, the method of personal identification by comparing the tiny sweat pores on friction ridges? Option A, Alphonse Bertillon. Option B, Dr. Henry Falls. Option C, Edmund Lockhart. Option D, Juan Vucetich. The correct answer is option C. Dr. Edmund Lockhart, a renowned French criminologist and the creator of the famous Lockhart's exchange principle, detailed the study of poroscopy in 1912. He noted that sweat pores are unique in their size, shape, and position, serving as excellent supplementary evidence when only small fragments of a fingerprint are found. The next question is, ACE-V in fingerprints terminology stands for. The options are given here are association, comparison, evaluation, verification, analysis, comparison, expertise, verification, analysis, correlation, evaluation, verification, analysis, comparison, evaluation, and verification. The correct answer is analysis, comparison, evaluation, and verification. ASV, analysis, comparison, evaluation, verification, is the acronym cum chronological order for the scientific examination of both known and unknown fingerprints, and based on the observation makes and states the results. Next question is, which of the following methods is the oldest reported method to visualize the latent finger marks? Options are ninhydrin method, option B iodine fuming method, option C cyanoacrylate fuming method, and option D silver nitrate method. The correct answer is iodine fuming method, and the image which is given here is the fingerprint developing using iodine fuming method. This is one of the oldest methods used in forensic science to visualize latent fingerprints on porous surfaces like paper, cardboard, and cloth. It relies on the sublimation of solid iodine crystals into a violet gas that physically adsorbs into the fatty acids, lipids, and oil residue left behind by skin ridges. The next question is, latent fingerprints on fingernails can be developed by silver nitrate, lead carbonate powder, iodine fuming, and copper powder. The correct answer here is copper powder. Latent fingerprints on fingernails are best developed using copper powder due to the specific surface characteristics of the human nail. Fingernails are considered a non-porous smooth surface. Metallic powders like copper are highly effective on such surfaces because they adhere well to the moisture and oily secretions left by the friction ridges without staining the background excessively. The next question is, latent fingerprints can be developed on the multicolored surfaces by white powder, black powder, grey powder, fluorescent powder. Here the correct answer is fluorescent powder. We use fingerprint powders based on the surface, contrast to the surface we are applying. So latent fingerprints on multicolored surfaces are best developed using fluorescent powders. Because multicolored surfaces feature complex, chaotic backgrounds that obscure standard powder, experts rely on fluorescent powders combined with the forensic light sources like UV lights to make the rich impressions fluorescence, eliminating the background interferences. So the last and final question is, the study of the friction ridge patterns on the skin of the fingers, palms, and soles is known as option A dactyloscopy, B dermatoglyphics, C serology, and D anthropology. So the correct answer is option A dactyloscopy. Dactyloscopy is the scientific study of fingerprint identification, and it is derived from the Greek words dactylos means finger and graphene to write. So here comes the end of the presentation. Hope it is helpful and understandable. Thank you and have a nice day.